We all know what happened on the train in Charlotte, North Carolina to Iryna Zarutska. The footage is some of the most horrifying in American history, and the organic outrage spread so far and wide through social media that it forced the mainstream media to eventually and reluctantly cover the story. But wait until you see how they covered the story. And this may be a tipping point in terms of American culture, where normal Americans, particularly white people, who have been bullied and harassed and shamed and threatened into staying silent about the black crime problem in America, this may just cause the dam to burst. In case you're new around here and you've been living under a rock, the 1350 refers to the well-known crime statistics that you're not supposed to talk about. How black people are 13% of the population but commit 50% of the violent crime. And actually, it's even worse than that because black men commit almost all of those violent crime, and they're only 6.5% of the population. So about 6.5% of the American population is responsible for 50, actually I think it's about 60 now, 60%, I mean at least half, of the violent crime in America. I posted in part on Facebook that, of course, this evil thug was brainwashed by endless propaganda from the mainstream media and charlatan black leaders that they prop up into hating white people, into believing that we're all complicit in some conspiracy to keep the black man down. And it is long overdue to stop coddling the black community and going along with their exploitation guilt trips about what their ancestors experienced, and time to address the black crime problem in America. We all know the statistics, but you're not supposed to talk about them. But guess what? That time is over. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here, because obviously you're not going to get honest political commentary like this from any of the bubblegum brand name mainstream conservatives who, are finally starting to get a clue, but still overwhelmingly cowards.
I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are boldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman. The open racism on sites like As Today, it is eye-popping. But there are also legitimate questions about this so-called career criminal, someone who had been a repeat offender. And those questions, I hope they're not lost amid all the cesspool kind of comments on social media.
He's upset that people are talking about the 1350 statistic, which, by the way, just adds up the Jewish ADL has deemed a numeric hate symbol. So just talking about crime statistics when they reflect poorly on a certain demographic, they, the all-knowing authority on hate speech and thought crimes, have deemed that in and of itself to be a thought crime. And yes, President Trump did catch wind of this tragedy, as the entire country has now. Here is what he said.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. Really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand.
Of course, the mainstream media is more upset about people noticing this and other patterns in society you're not supposed to talk about than they are about the crime itself.
Horrific new video of a Ukrainian refugee's murder caught on camera. It is absolutely horrific. Trump is now seizing on this to push his nationwide crackdown.
He's seizing on it. I guess it should have just been another 15-second soundbite on the local news.
People like Charlie Kirk, Van, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong.
We have no idea why he did what he did, huh? I mean, it's not like the whole thing and the aftermath were captured on security footage, right? Oh, wait, what's this?
The audio translation is not confirmed at this point. We should say that, but we can hear it. Got that white girl, got that white girl. And from that, it seems pretty clear. You realize with that, and a couple other reasons, why this story has gotten almost no media coverage, except as a local story in Charlotte.
Axios, another one of these online wastes of cyberspace that's very well funded by the liberal media industrial complex, noted that the video has fueled MAGA's crime message, noting the obvious that only normal Americans care about what happened. The New York Times says that North Carolina has ignited a firestorm on the right. Of course, because nobody on the left cares about crime. I guess that's not entirely true. I mean, there are many brainwashed Democrat voters who do care about crime, but not all of them, obviously, because we've seen the protests for the defund the police movement. So it's not just the Marxist Democrats in Congress or the lying satanic scum in the mainstream media who love crime and chaos and destruction. The New York Times says that such stories in the Jim Crow era often egregiously exaggerated black criminality and, among other things, served as a precursor to a white supremacist uprising in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1898, in which at least 60 black men were killed. Notice the word black is capitalized, but of course, none of the mainstream media will capitalize the word white. You can see here every mention of the white woman or white people not capitalized. Every time black is mentioned, that of course is. We've been talking about this for years on this channel. Obviously, the Associated Press put that into their style guide back in like 2020 after the George Floyd insurrection. But guess who now is finally noticing it? Elon Musk, who posted, "Why is white always in lowercase but black is uppercase?" New York Times. The New York Times is deliberate, precise, and comprehensive in its anti-white racism. Yes, that's right, Mr. Musk. I would just add that that is called anti-whiteism, which is constant from the mainstream media with articles like this coming from CNN. There's nothing more frightening in America today than an angry white man. Of course, if you just mention an angry black man, then that's a racist trope, they say. I mean, anything possibly even remotely factual or critical about the black community, black crime, black culture is deemed racist. This from the Kyiv Independent over there in Ukraine. They're upset at normal people in America for, feeling bad for this young woman and wanting something to be done about the criminals in America on our streets. Right-wing influencers across the U.S. and Europe are now exploiting the Ukrainian refugees' tragic story, not to promote wartime aid for Ukraine, but to stoke fear and push racist, xenophobic policies at home. The story has outraged so many people, and obviously not just white people, but normal Americans of all different races. Well, that is except for the one subset of the black race, which you're not supposed to describe with a word that starts with the letter N in order to differentiate them from the normal black people. You get what I'm saying. But so many people are outraged that even Fox News is talking about black crime statistics.
Why would one story demand 100 articles and another story 0 articles?
It's talking about the New York Times covering the Daniel Penny story over 100 times, denouncing a heroic American for protecting people on the trains.
And it's because the media is more interested in the all capitals story, the narrative, than the facts or the truth. Take a look at the difference here. I want to show you the actual truth when it comes to crime. The story is about race. Race. Take a look at the black on white crimes, 385,000 in 2023. The white on black crimes, just under 118,000. You see the comparative numerical difference.
Basically, black on white crime is almost 4 times that of white on black crime, which, if that's not horrifying enough, when you understand that black people are only 13% of the population and black men are only 6.5% of the population who commit the overwhelming number of those violent crimes, Then the picture starts to emerge that black males are well over 10 times more likely to commit a violent crime than a white man in America. Not twice as likely, 3 times or 4 times, over 10, well over 10.
That's what the media actually does. They did what our camera operator just began to do a moment ago. I'm going to step out of the way. I'm going to show you literally what the media does with the camera. They zoom in on this number. This number, devoid of context.
Which is why we have disgruntled black people like this on TikTok celebrating her murder. It's a popular thing on TikTok for people to not say anything so that the algorithm doesn't detect their violent threats or their celebration of crimes. So they just sit there and have music playing in the background and then post some captions over it. So this guy says his thoughts on the thug who committed that violent act, saying that, well, he is the natural response to 400 years of YT, that means white oppression. Expect more, just like him. And his entire TikTok account, oh, you can see there, Free Carmelo. See, he loves the black crime. He loves black criminals. He himself is a servant of Satan. And like I said, the phony black leaders that are propped up by the mainstream media are just as culpable for this problem, because normal people would call out their own. They wouldn't say things like this.
We can get rid of all the crime in America overnight, just like that.
That's Benjamin Crump, by the way. He's that ambulance-chasing attorney who gets his claws into the family of any black person who gets themselves killed by the police, that then becomes a high-profile story, and then blames the police and blames white people.
And people ask, how, Attorney Crump?
How? By sending black people back to Africa?
Change the definition of crime. Of course. If you get to define what conduct is going to be made criminal, you can predict who the criminal is going to be.
It sounds like we're criminal, though.
Yeah.
Our existence is criminal.
But they made the laws that way. They make the law to criminalize our culture. To fit us. Black culture.
I don't think that it's coming across the way that you really wanted to, sir, because, the criminal element at the core of black culture really isn't something that most people want to be admitting out loud. And we all know that when you admit preemptive solutions to try to protect you and your family out loud, like Scott Adams did, the Dilbert comic, then the mainstream media starts circling around you like a bunch of sharks in order to cancel you.
The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the away. Wherever you have to go, just get away.
Not all of them, obviously. Maybe about half of them. I got a lot of black people who are fans of mine and watch my videos on a regular basis, and we're all in agreement. Just like it's known statistically that someone driving a motorcycle is significantly at higher risk to get into a car accident and be severely injured or killed than driving in a car. And so a lot of people, a lot of wives don't want their husbands to drive motorcycles, don't want their kids to drive motorcycles for that very reason. So it's not all motorcycles are, particularly dangerous. Everybody who drives a motorcycle is going to get injured. But it's known because of various inherent factors that driving one is statistically far more dangerous. And so you can't blame someone if they just don't want someone that they love to be driving a motorcycle. And speaking of my black fans, this shirt's for you. This is the I Love White People Mark Dice original, available at my online store at markdice.com, or click the link in the description below. For the rest of you, you enjoy my videos, you want to get a great shirt, you want to signal to others that you're one of us, then head on over there and get yourself an Alligator Alcatraz shirt, a Sorry No Vacancy shirt, a War is a Racket shirt, or any of my awesome designs, all available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and tank tops and women's cuts as well. So head on over there and click the link. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.